What's up, y'all? What's up, Sims? What's up, Mr. Smoke? Child of the Sun. Yeah, I'm gonna do a response video to DJ Faze. I was actually that was gonna be part of tonight's topic, but I want to actually play some of what he said. So I'm gonna save that for when I'm back on my computer. But yeah, salute to DJ Faze. He had a response video to my video that I did on Cool Herc being the Christopher Columbus of hip hop. Y'all go look that up. Cool Herc. Is Cool Herc the Christopher Columbus of hip hop? That's over on Incense and Ashtrays. Go subscribe to that channel. Watch this is a short video. I'll be doing more of those type videos on Incense and Ashtrays where I break things down. I'll be doing some stuff on the history of the drum set, all kinds of just interesting things when it comes to music, and also interviews. My interview with DJ Battlecat is going to drop on Incense and Ashtrays over there on the Incense and Ashtrays website. So yeah. Salute, salute, salute. Um, yeah, because DJ Faze, he's if y'all don't know who DJ Faze is, he was DJing and doing what they give Cool her credit for doing in 1972. DJ Faze was in New York doing that in 1971. Facts. So listen to him. And I'm gonna do some stuff with DJ Faze. We're gonna chop it up and talk. I'm gonna do some stuff on his channel. Hopefully, come over here do some stuff over on my channel. I have a lot of respect for that brother, and I like the patience he speaks with. And so yeah, salute to DJ Faze. But today we're gonna talk about three topics. I'm gonna start off talking about what I'm gonna talk about the least, and then we're gonna end what I'm gonna talk probably the longest about. Let's start off talking about Donald Trump. Y'all see him talking about some. He's about to. I guess tomorrow's Tuesday. Tomorrow's the day he said he's going to blow Iran to smithereens. Trump is talking real loud, and Iran's not backing down that Strait of Hormuz. And he right, he looking like a clown. Telling y'all right now, man, just this is some stuff for us to sit back and watch. This is some stuff for us to sit back and watch. Don't jump in this fight. Yeah, Trump is gonna fold. Of course, Trump is gonna fold. Don't jump in this fight. Right, grab your popcorn. Grab your popcorn. This shit Trump talking ain't nothing for us to jump in, y'all. Um, because I don't think Trump. See, Trump is going to watch out for when the Democrats get the House and the Senate in November. They might impeach. They gonna go. They might be able to get his ass up out of office. Not that I support the Democrats, but I definitely don't support the Republicans. It's just criminals fighting over how they gonna steal from us. So if you want people that come in here later on talking about something, well, you're that side, I'm this side. I don't gang bang. I don't gang bang. I don't crip. I don't blood. I don't Democrat. I don't Republican. I don't gang bang. I don't set trip. I ain't got no set to trip over. So watch this shit and go to bamfamilytree.org. Yeah, he fucked up bending the knee to Israel, right? He fucked up bending the knee to Israel. But that's part of the job. It's not that that's his choice. The whole Israel plays in Trump's choice. That's why I don't really have anything for either side. Because if you choose to run, if you choose to jump into politics, you're going to have to bend the knee to them, and that's just what it is. If you want to make it to the top, you got rules you got to follow. You know what's up, Star? Salute the Star, my day one mods. Butter love, another day one mod. What's up? Salute to those two. I ain't seen some of my other mods in a minute. I ain't seen Quan in a minute. I ain't seen Black McBain. I ain't seen a few of my mods in a minute. Aries. So salute to the mods. I'm about to start taking some more wrenches away. What's up? What's up, DSM? Dre Day? Oh, no, right now when I compared LeBron Glazers to Drake Blazers, yeah, they're the same. LeBron, Drake, Jay-Z, they're all kind of the same fan base. Jordan, I never thought I would see the day that the Jordan fan base isn't that bad. Jordan fan base isn't honestly ain't that bad anymore. I never thought I would say that. And tomorrow, what's up, Nene? Tomorrow I'm gonna do a show here on YouTube about I was watching Voodoo Doll's channel, through her channel, and she was talking about the black towns that were taken. And right when she said that, I just happened to be driving down. Literally when she was saying it on her live this morning, I was driving down Redondo Beach Boulevard here in Lawndale, LA. Well, it's LA to y'all, but if you know LA, Lawndale. And there's a spot called Alondra Park. Alondra Park, if you want to know what Redondo Beach Boulevard is, Redondo Beach Boulevard is Compton Boulevard. When Compton runs out, it turns into Redondo Beach Boulevard. But we can go towards the beach. There's this big park, and then there's El Camino College. With that park in college was a black neighborhood. A black man bought that subdivision 100 years ago. He's gonna make a black middle class neighborhood, only for LA to take it under eminent domain. So we're gonna talk about tomorrow different cities that were taken through eminent domain, burning down, and things like that. That's gonna be tomorrow's show. What's up, Monique? Um, but that's gonna be tomorrow. Yeah, but like so as far as Trump go, let's just stay the fuck up out of that. Now I want to jump into what was the other topic that I had? I had Trump. Oh yeah. I'm gonna talk about Kanye and LeBron. Who do y'all want me to talk about first? Kanye or LeBron? Because I'm probably gonna talk about them both equal amount of times. Chat room, who do y'all want me to go to? Kanye or LeBron? Which one? Because both tie in, so I don't care which one I talk about first. Okay. You said LeBron? Okay, you were first. Okay. So let's talk about the LeBron thing. The quickest sponsors was LeBron. I'm gonna talk about LeBron. I'm gonna talk about Kanye. I'm gonna talk about them both then, and then I'm gonna come back and expound on both. All right, how about that? So let's talk about the LeBron situation first. For those of you who don't know, I don't have the video up, but he was playing video. I mean, I said playing video. He was playing golf with some white boys, and he had the Negro I'm talking to a white boy voice. Y'all know that voice where, yeah, yeah. And he was talking like this, and he said, "I don't even know why. I'm 41 fucking years old, man. I don't want to play basketball in Memphis. Like, dude, move the team to Nashville. Like, come on." And he had that white boy code switch inflection. Did y'all see that? This is LeBron James. Run faster than God, jump higher than Jesus James. And he had to change in code switch and start talking like this. Yeah. And he was talking about Memphis. First off, the optics of being on the golf course with them white boys talking like that. Just seeing his body language and the code switching. That shows y'all people, man. Look, these people are not for you. Jay-Z's not for you. LeBron's not for you. These are backdoor room dealing niggas. You know, it's funny when I think about like how much people love LeBron. I think about how little black folks talk about Jim Brown these days. As if Jim Brown didn't have 60 years of bona fide work. Bona fide. He stopped killings in LA, created gang truces, and all he did was show up and talk to Trump one time and you niggas got rid of. Y'all remember how fast black people wanted to cancel Jim Brown for just talking to Trump? As if that's not what you're supposed to do as a citizen. Talk to the person in charge, no matter what side they're on. We got to see what LeBron was like is like when we not around. When he's just in front of them. Right, Jay Jemison? We got to see exactly what he like. He know he's 41 years old. He knows exactly what he's doing. Okay. Then he said, I'm 41 years old. What do I look like staying at the Hyatt? First off, yeah, that's why players retire. You're 41 years old. Like, who the fuck? The only reason why Kareem was still playing at 41 was because his accountant stole all of his money and his house burned down. And he lost all his records. And he had to play 3 more years to make some money again. That's why Kareem. And in Kareem's last 3 years, he went to the finals 3 years in a row and won 2 championships. Kareem was retiring in 1985 as a 38-year-old. His house burned down and his accountant stole all of his money and made him play longer. The fuck you doing still playing, nigga? And then came back and doubled down and took a shot at Milwaukee. But going back to the Memphis part, he talked about really bad about Memphis and he big up Nashville. Let's talk about let's break that down. Let's break that down. Memphis is a legacy black city. Legacy, listen, Memphis is one of the most culturally strong, culturally rich black cities. It's the southern home of the blues. It's the place, it's the first stop outside of the deep south where a lot of our ancestors congregated and got to at the end of slavery and met up. This is musically centered and culturally rich as New Orleans. See, the thing is, you talk about jazz out of New Orleans, blues out of Memphis. You notice they very rarely talk about Memphis when they talk about Black American music history. They always want to start with New Orleans because New Orleans was a multicultural city. Even though the black music out of New Orleans is all black, it ain't really diverse like that. It's black and indigenous. It's not it's not French and all the other shit they try to give it. No, no. But they don't talk about Memphis because if you bring up Memphis, you can't have that multiculti kind of thing going on. So Memphis isn't talked about. Yeah, black radio began in Memphis. Right. Albert King. Albert King gave a job to BB King. Memphis is near and dear to Black America. And he says you should move the team to Nashville, where they have fucking hockey and NASCAR. Nashville is known as the home of country music. Whiteness, Grand Ole Opry. It was the symbolism, and he knows exactly what it is when it comes to symbolism and using cities as examples. And it's the reason why he used Nashville. Somebody said, "What I want to move to Memphis." I'm not talking about me. Hey, Dartmouth. If I got $150 million contract to play basketball for the Memphis Grizzlies, fuck yes, I would want to move to Memphis. Does that answer your question, Dartmouth? If I got a $6 million contract to play for the Memphis Grizzlies, would I want to move to Memphis? Hell yeah. We're talking about basketball players, nigga, not somebody that's gonna be working at Walmart. Okay. That's why you don't ever use yourself as an example. That's one of the worst ways that you could do when you're trying to get an understanding out of a story. You don't say what I would do. No, nigga, you're gonna get a job being a tow truck driver. He's gonna get a job playing for the NBA. And think about it like this. Man, Memphis is cheap as hell. Hey, man, shit. Whatever Memphis don't have that you think it needs, you can make and buy. It probably costs $15 to build a Hilton in Memphis. Nah, I'm just playing. But whatever it takes, you can build a goddamn. You can build your own Waldorf Astoria. Well, okay, the Waldorf Astoria, but Ritz Carlton. Let's say that. Memphis, I'm pretty sure Memphis can handle the Ritz Carlton. So it's Memphis is a black city, and when they talk about black, Memphis is a code word for black, the same way Chicago is a code word for black, and Detroit. That's why they say, what about crime in Chicago? That's a code word about black crime. There are certain cities, Memphis. When you hear these cities, you think black. When you hear DC, you think black folks. When you hear Detroit, you think black folks. When you hear Atlanta, you think black folks. When you hear Memphis, you think black folks. Yeah, Baltimore. When you think Baltimore, Chicago, St. Louis, you thinking about black folks. The Bay, yeah, you tell me you're the Bay. You thinking about black folks. These are code words for black towns. And when you combine not only what he said, but the tone and how he said it, he had the Valley Girl accent. I don't respect niggas that gotta put on Valley Girl accents when they talk to white people. Nigga, put some bass in your voice. God damn it. Talk like you talking to me. New Zealand in the house. What's up, New Zealand? Put some bass in your voice though, nigga. Isaiah Edwards say y'all been. What's up, Isaiah Edwards? I ain't seen Isaiah Edwards in a minute. That's another motherfucker I was about to demise because I ain't seen in a minute. What's up, Solo Brown? I was going through my Mazdas. I'm about to take all these motherfuckers out that don't be coming here no more and get some new mods up in here. Like, let me get Mr. Smoke is always up in this motherfucker. Add Mr. Smoke as a mod. But so like black folks, like I'm telling y'all, these people are not from us, for us. These people are not for us. We don't have any Jim Browns out there. The closest we got is Jaylen Brown. And y'all see how they're doing Jaylen Brown right now in the NBA. Jaylen Brown has lifted his team to be one of the top, missing his so-called best player, Jason Tatum, and they're at the top of their division. And there's no mention of Jaylen Brown as an MVP. And he's been the best player in basketball this year. And see what they're doing with Jaylen Brown is they're sending a message to any of you niggas that think you're gonna be pro-black first. You ain't gonna make no Olympic team. You ain't gonna win no MVPs, no of the league. None of that shit. You know? Salute to Jaylen Brown. And Kyrie too, yeah. Yeah, how they did Deontay Wilder in a boxing match, right. You said Boston didn't put up any posters of Jaylen Brown until Tatum came back, right. I remember last year, the year the Boston Celtics won the finals. Watching that game, they waited 10 minutes to go to commercial. In the 10 minutes from them, the Celtics winning the championship, and then they went up to the little post game speech. You know how they go around showing all the players hugging each other and celebrating? They did not give a solo shot of Jaylen Brown one time. Go back and look. I was surprised he won the Finals MVP because when they're showing everybody hugging, they kept showing Jason Tatum, they kept showing Porzingis, they kept showing everybody. They would not cut to Jaylen Brown. You didn't see Jaylen Brown get on that camera until he went to accept his Finals MVP award. Should Byron Scott be in the Basketball Hall of Fame? I don't think Byron Scott's already done enough to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Maybe had he won it, he coached for a long time and he was a damn good role player, but I don't know. I wouldn't be against Byron Scott going to the Hall of Fame because he's a Laker. So I'd definitely be for Byron Scott going to the Hall of Fame, but now I don't think he did enough. But what's up, Dad, on the TV? He said they'll promote black folks who came from stable families unless they light skin. That's funny. They don't promote, but you're right. The light skin ones usually the light skin ones are mixed. It's not that they light skinned, it's that they mixed. They can show a white mom and a black dad. They're like, all right, we cool with that. Yeah, I don't like that. We said they don't promote black athletes with both parents with a father. LeBron didn't have a father in the house. That's why they promote his ass. If LeBron had a strong dad, he would be everything. He'd be everything but a child of God. I promise you that. If you saw images of LeBron's dad on the sideline, man, they had to be shitting on LeBron his whole career. The way they shit on Kyrie when his dad came back. Which takes me to my third topic, Kanye West.
And I'll get back to LeBron. I'll get back to LeBron, but I want to get on Kanye West because these two tie in together. The LeBron topic, the LeBron topic ties into the Kanye topic, and let me show you how. When he said, "Dear Roy Linda Lang, LeBron dad." So,
so let's get into it. Kanye, we see what's going on with Kanye right now. We see what's going on with Kanye. Yeah, the Bar Brothers get shitted on every chance that they get too. So we see how that goes. Um, Kanye. So they said he made $33 million in two shows. He went independent, rented out the SoFi football stadium, and still won as an independent. I want to have a conversation with y'all right now about Kanye. And let me get some water. Hold on one second. Let me get some water. All right. So let's talk about Kanye. Kanye, we always say as black folks, we need to go independent. We you know, if you do it this way, you do it that way, you'll be okay. We're starting to see right now that that's not necessarily true. No matter how you do it, through the industry or independent, black folks are still running up against the system of white supremacy. And let's go and talk about Kanye a little more. I don't want nobody coming in saying Kanye sold out, yada yada yada. We know all the moves Kanye did. This channel has covered Kanye probably better than any other channel, down to his cards. So I understand Kanye, and I don't fuck with his music like that. I don't. I just he Kanye gives you a headache. So we're not about to get into all of his personal politics. We know his personal politics is fucked up. Okay, let's put the personal politics to the side. So what he's doing is he spoke out against the people who really run the system. I have a rule. Yeah, Kanye don't really fuck with black folks like that. Yeah, he said some shady shit. But if somebody is going up against the higher power, the power, the people that silently run this shit, I'ma shut up. Yeah, he's beating Live Nation, Mr. Smoke Right. I'ma shut up. Like, he's circumventing Live Nation right now. He said what he had to say about the people that we know that bullshit a lot. You know what I mean? Kanye ain't even thinking about us right now. He is sticking it to the people who stick it to all of us. And that's why I say salute, because Kanye right now is fighting the people that really hurt the music industry. When it comes to music, Kanye isn't the problem. The problem is the people that sign and the contracts that Kanye had to sign with. They're the problem. He's in a fight right now with the people that hate us all, rich or poor. Because, and I say rich because rich and wealthy are two different things. The people that Kanye is fighting, anybody worth less than $10 billion, worth less than $5 billion, anybody that's who he's, they don't like anybody worth less than 10, $15 billion. These people are rich, wealthy, wealthy, wealthy. If you worth $100 million, you in the same boat as me when it comes to the people that Kanye is going against. This is where those of us as black people have to be more mature. You got people out there that are shitting on the black people that went to go see Kanye. Oh, look at this. And oh, Kanye is MAGA. And you got the people that are talking all about, how Kanye is, I saw some people from other parts of the country talking about something. See, look, that's the LA blacks going to support that. LA blacks are weak. Like, first off, most of the people that was there ain't no LA goddamn blacks. First off, hell, not 80% of the pictures I saw was non-black people at that motherfucker. And for the black folks that was there, most of the niggas probably wasn't from here. But even if they were from here, so yeah, a bunch of fake outrage. But even the black folks out here were there. So Kanye is taking on a fight against the people that molest everybody when it comes to entertainment. Now, I'm with you, Solo. Yeah, leave Chili alone too. Niggas is mad at Chili and Nick Cannon and Kanye. And mind you, most of the people mad at Chili, Nick Cannon, and Kanye, most of them are Democrats. Democrat style black folks. And I'd hate to say this. I'd hate to say this because I don't want to bring divisive lines, but most of the people that be on this shit, I ain't talking about the bots. I know bots exist. I ain't talking about the bots. I'm talking about the people who are humans or who speak out, who get on camera and say these things. Most of these cats are not only the Democrats, they're the so-called college educated. Pay attention to the college educated Negroes right now. And I got a degree. I'm college educated. But I can call a spade a spade. It's the college boys that got the most to say, and women that got the most to say about Chili, that got the most to say about Kanye. Yeah, a lot of your sorority and frat divine nine. Yep. A lot of people from the South, and specifically not HBCUs specifically. This is something we're gonna have to deal with. A lot of our HBCUs were very successful at their mission. The mission of a lot of HBCUs, we ain't talking about George Washington Carver's HBCUs. We ain't talking about Booker T. Washington's HBCUs. We talking about HBCUs post 1960s. And even back then, when they were originally created, a lot of them. HBCUs pump out Negroes that are helpful to whiteness. Look at how a lot of these HBCUs treated Dr. Randy Short. And me and Dr. Short are going to talk about this pretty soon. Look at how they ostracized Dr. Randy Short. Dr. Randy Short got PhDs, and they, for the most part, ostracized and kicked him out because of his revolutionary stance. Look at how HBCUs did Dr. Ben. Look at how they did Dr. Leonard Jeffries. Why did Leonard Jeffries have to teach at Hunter College or City College in New York and not at HBCU? Look at how HBCUs did Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. We could talk all day about the gangster rap and the gangs in America and what's wrong with the gangs. And we as Black America are fucked up in a lot of areas. Right, but love, tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, the HBCUs pump out Negroes that are going to be helpful to reinforce the system of white supremacy, especially the Divine Nine. Especially. Yeah, Tethers did take over a lot of those faculty roles in administration, and it was the Divine Nine Negroes that gave it to them. Instead of hiring another brother, they the ones that decided to hire Azubuki. They're the ones that decided to hire Ngongo and shit. Most of the Negroes that got replaced by Africans, it was a Negro that put them in position to replace the Negroes, right? And yeah, how they did William Leo Hansberry, right? We can go way down the line. We could talk about tethers all day. But what they did to William Leo Hansberry was 100 years ago. What they did to Carter G. Woodson was 100 years ago. What they did to Dr. Ben was 50 years ago. 30 years ago. What they did with Dr. John Henry Clark was 40 years ago. This is before the tethers got in. Whatever they done did, they done got these niggas thinking that they're a one-to-one connection to Democrats. Like, to be black is to be Democrat. Whatever these HBCUs did to these niggas, they got them thinking blackness is tied to the Democrat Party. And you see them, it's like with them focused so hard on Kanye, you're running interference to what we should really be mad at, what should we should really be focused on. Bay Durfee says HBCU grad, you approve this message. Yeah, I don't want to be offensive. I really don't want to offend. Like, a part of my job, what I want to do, I really do want to bring, I like to bring, y'all know me, I like to connect things, bring things together. But part of bringing things together is to tear things. Sometimes some bonds got to be torn before things get brought back together. And part of my role, like when I read my human design, a major part of my role in this life is I'm a destroyer. I know me. King of clubs. I destroy paradigms. It's part of how my speech goes. I destroy. I do. I'm very destructive when it comes to paradigms in the mind. But I'm also very constructive on how to tie those bonds together to where they fit. Some shit don't fit. And These people is coming from the same audience. It's coming from the people that think Roland Martin is smart. And did y'all watch Solo Brown? Go back and watch my video that I did on Roland Martin when Roland Martin tried to correct Nick Cannon. Roland Martin was so wrong. The whole video, he was just wrong. He talked about Henry Wallace losing to Truman. No, that's because Truman was the incumbent, because Truman was selected in the 11th hour in a backdoor deal to get Henry Wallace out of space, because Henry Wallace started talking about reparations and wanted equality amongst black people, and one of his closest friends was George Washington Carver, and Roland Martin missed all that, and how the Democrats fucked Henry Wallace because of his relationship with George Washington Carver and black people. And people are listening to this shit that Roland Martin is speaking, and it's just flat out wrong. So back to Kanye. Back to Kanye. Kanye is fighting a bigger fight right now. And the least we can do, shut up. Kanye not even talking to black people. He ain't. He gave his little half-ass apology in the paper, and he ain't mentioned us since. But what I'm not gonna do is side with with the power structure and that's trying to X this man out from making an income. Kanye should be making an income. Kanye should be able to make money doing what he does, regardless of how he thinks. If Leonard Skinner can make money for his whole life based on how he thinks, why can't Kanye? Real talk, artist life. Like what Kanye's doing, stay out of it. Now, if Kanye, if I wake up tomorrow and there's a headline of Kanye saying, "Okay, black people are just stupid, and and we need to come and these tars talking to us," yeah, I'll talk back to Kanye if he says something to us. But Kanye ain't thinking about niggas right now. And the next thing I was gonna say about Kanye is pay attention to LeBron and Jay-Z and look at Kanye. See, Kanye was a bipolar idiot that made a White Lives Matter t-shirt and openly supported Trump. So he did some obvious things to get black people on alert. What I'm talking about is this, and what I want y'all to pay attention to is this. LeBron and Jay-Z, they equally showed the white supremacy that they're on their side, not ours. When Tamir Rice got killed, LeBron James needed more information. When the white kid got killed, LeBron James talked all kind of, we just need to come together and stop the violence. Watch how he moves. Watch how LeBron moves. The Barclays Center, the we're past kneeling, the let's stop protesting in 2020 and let's get back to playing basketball. Real talk. LeBron does have a bootleg a symbol tattooed on his chest. Yep. Look at Jay-Z. Look at these people. Look at LeBron. The way he shitted on Memphis the other day, and it was with that tacky ass, yeah, yeah, yeah. We just need to go ahead and move the team. Yeah, move the team. Let's move the team to Nashville, where they have NASCAR and fucking hockey. Nigga, what? So I asked the question: who's our enemy? Is Kanye our enemy? Is Jay-Z our enemy? Or all of them problems with us? Or all of them a little bit of this, a little bit of that? LeBron, I mean, Kanye said some vile things, but at least he's taking on a fight to the people, to the power structure. Ye is going at the power structure. That's what people keep missing. Real talk, artist life. That's what people keep missing. Ye is really challenging the power structure. When you have a whole the prime minister of a country talking about pulling out and not stamping a passport, that means you're doing something that's going a little bit beyond your music. Somebody said, but the power structure is for his benefit, not ours. What are you talking about? Kanye says, do you understand what Kanye did at that concert by circumventing Live Nation? Pay attention to what Live Nation just got a sweetheart settlement from the Supreme Court. What are you talking about? Live Nation and Ticketmaster are fucking us. Anybody that goes to events, they're not only fucking the consumer, they're fucking the small concert venue owner. They run 90%, 80% of the ticket sales. They're running independent theaters and independent promoters out of business. And they're like their inflation on concert tickets it's like something like 800% past inflation since the 70s. For those of us who like going out and getting some entertainment, sporting games, Kanye's going at them. The people who are in our pockets, brother. Kanye going at the people who's in our pockets. So it's like, do I like or do I co-sign what he said about black people? No. But I'm just gonna sit down and just shut up and just kind of watch him take along the people, you know? Now at the same time, because of Kanye, now if Kanye never pissed off black people, he'd have our energy. And if Kanye had our energy as a collective, I have no doubt he'd win. But him pissing off black people has made us either disconnect and not like him, or be more like me and be neutral. I'm more on the neutral side. I'm sitting back and watching where this goes. I don't know if I could put my energy behind Kanye because you've seen how much he switched up so much. So I don't know how worth it would be, because he might wake up tomorrow and say, "Hey, everybody else is okay. You black people need to get over it." So because of his past, I don't have the energy to really dump into Kanye West. But while he fighting these people, I know how to shut up. Shut up and watch. And that's what he's doing. Oh, the new album to me is the new album. Kanye's new album to me is cool. Like, I don't like the. I like some of the stuff. Salute. I know people who work on that, who worked on the album. So salute to kind of some of the artists I know that have worked on the album, and it's not my style when it comes to the textures that he used, but it wasn't a bad album at all. It was a pretty good album. Now, my new favorite album for this year is Thundercat. Thundercat. That album right there is hot. That shit came out Saturday. Thundercat's new album is hot. What's that shit? Oh, I couldn't find it. Thundercat's new album is hot. LeBron ain't going on NBA team when he's done. Yeah, man. So we gotta reassess these things. Like, Jay-Z nor LeBron has said anything egregious to black people like Kanye has. Neither of them told us white lives matter. Kanye has been, when Kanye decides to sambo, he sambos. But I look at Kanye's consistency. Kanye takes on everybody. That's how I felt about Suge Knight. Suge Knight, yeah, they went around fucking with a whole bunch of niggas. Yes, they did. But Suge Knight also went into the white executive's office and treated them the same way. And he got a lot of people their money. Salute to Battle Cat. Battle Cat gave a dope perspective on Suge Knight in our interview that you guys are going to see when we drop it. It's dropping on Patreon. The full interview is going to drop on Patreon. We're going to start putting out some clips in the next few days. And then we're going to drop the full clip on Incense and Ashtrays. Yeah, Ye did his thing. Yeah, he did his thing. So, how about how Trump was kept out of L.A.? Oh, how Trump was kept out of L.A. Trump tried for a long time to buy buildings along the Wilshire corridor. The Wilshire corridor is the most expensive. Well, it may not be now. I don't know how it is now, but traditionally, it's the most expensive condominium estates on the West Coast. But the only condominiums that rival like New York in price.
the Wilshire corridor that's between UCLA and Beverly Hills, um, on Wilshire Boulevard. In the Wilshire corridor, Trump tried to buy property there for years. He even tried to buy properties downtown. Every time Donald Trump tried to buy a property along the Wilshire corridor, either Donald Sterling, the owner of the Clippers, former owner of the Clippers, Jerry Buss, former owner of the Lakers, and other billionaires, people worth a lot of money, they would buy a property, even if they didn't want it, but they would buy it just so Donald Trump could not get a foothold in Los Angeles. So the reason why Donald Trump never had any play in LA, even going back to when America liked him. Remember, America used to love Trump. You youngsters don't get the shit twisted. Before 2014, these same Democrats that detest Trump now, they loved him, all of them, 2015 and before. Even when he was starting that birther shit with Obama, these white folks still loved his ass. Now let them, you know. But with that being said, he couldn't get a foothold in LA because LA developers wouldn't let him. The Frederick Garvey Johnson said FDMG is coming. All right, cool. Yeah, Jay-Z was a hip hop whisperer. Suge Knight said the same thing. Suge Knight said Jay and Puffy, yeah. Yeah, Art of the Deal era Trump. Yeah, that Art of the Deal era Trump is legendary in white society. Don't let them, do not let them rewrite the story now. But what I'm trying to get people to see is people like Kanye, man, people like Jay-Z, people like LeBron, they're everything you think Kanye is. Let me say it again. Jay-Z, LeBron, they're everything you think Kanye West is, but they're just smart enough and or just I wouldn't even say smart enough. They don't have bipolar, so they're not gonna blurt out. That's what they're smarter than him. They're not gonna blurt out no bullshit, but pay attention to how they operate. Any questions? Was I clear on how one is loud and crazy, the other one is quiet and cunning, but they both operate in the interest of people who hate us? Somebody said you have proof of this or the feeling. Proof of what? I don't have proof of this. I don't know what this is. What do you want proof from? Right, the media will give you your heroes, right? Now you didn't have to time out. I wanted to hear his question. I wanted to hear that. I wanted to hear the answer. Appreciate that, Charlotte. Uh, but oh yeah, Earth and Fire. You gotta be on Earth and Fire, of course. Was Tom Bradley a good married? I remember he was around when I was a kid. He was cool. They got Tom Bradley ass up out of there after the riots happened, though. But I'm also earlier today I watched. I didn't get. I'm gonna go back and watch it. I only saw like the first. I saw like the first 10 minutes of Glasses Malone podcast. That's my new favorite podcast. I gotta go back and watch it all. But I saw like the first 10 minutes, something like that, when I was walking Rocky. When I saw it listening, and Glasses said something that was very interesting. He was talking about how black LA is. And I'll talk about this on my next show when I break down the black areas that were taken from us. But he was saying that, he asked his mom why they stay in Compton. She said because she wanted him to stay black and to grow up around black people and see what it is to be around black folks. And I was thinking about Glass's mom doing that, and that's so that move was so LA because I got a similar story. My wife got a similar story. Who watched? Do y'all watch Glasses podcast? Personally, I wonder if you watched that, or if you saw the one today, the No Ceilings podcast by Glasses Malone. Let me know if y'all saw that one today when they talked about this particular topic. Hey, check that white boy Solo. Where you been, Solo? Shit, Laurie. But he was talking about that, and I was saying, like, for me, I grew up. I lived on Slauson and Broadway, east of the 110 freeway. I lived on Western and 71st. When my parents got more money than moved from Western to 71st, they moved to Crenshaw Rodeo, was just a better side of the black neighborhood. And then when my parents leveled up again, because even though I was on Crenshaw and Slauson, Crenshaw and Rodeo, saw a lot of shootings there. It's a quiet neighborhood, but the Rodeo Lane Apartments is right across the street. So when they had enough to move again, my parents moved to View Park, which is a black neighborhood with black folks that got even more, a little bit more money. But my dad was very intent on staying in LA and staying in South Central. My dad did. My mom was like, My mom was thinking about either moving to the Valley or moving like to Riverside or some shit. And my dad was like, nah, I'm gonna need my. Even I know the neighborhood is bad or whatever at the time. But I know that's what they say, but I'm gonna need my kids to be raised around black folks and realize it ain't all that what they put on the news. And then it was a similar situation with my wife. Hell, my wife's dad made enough when he was producing for Motown. They could have easily moved to Brentwood or Beverly Hills area. They stayed right there in Ladera. Why? Because they wanted to be around black people. So when I heard Glasses say that about, this mom back in the 80s, the 90s, choosing to stay in Compton so they could stay around black people, that's so LA. Like, we like being around each other. Very much so. But tomorrow, we're going to talk about that tomorrow morning. We're going to talk about that because I'm going to show you all these different neighborhoods that were taken and how a lot of black America had established great shit that was taken about 100 years ago. I love In My Dreaming. That's one of my favorite songs he did too. Well, keep going solo. I know sometimes it's good to step away from social media and YouTube and all that stuff. That's a good thing. If you feel you gotta do that, make sure you do that because nothing's more important than your peace. If what's happening on social media is razzle dazzling your peace, get the fuck away from it and protect your peace. But speaking back of taking our stuff, I've noticed a pattern in America. I haven't gone back to the 1720s yet, but I can see since there's been a thing called the United States of America, it seems as if the 20s is when a lot of our shit gets taken. 20s and the 30s. And we spend the rest of the century building it back up. We built a lot of shit, y'all, in the 1820s, 1830s. Free towns in the South. We have free towns in the South. Don't get it twisted. And and salute again to Voodoo Doll. She was talking about this today on her channel about the free towns in the South. A lot of my music research is I've been really focusing on the North. I've been spending more time because I know about the South. I've been hearing about the South my whole life and reading and studying the South my whole life when it comes to Black music. My studies the last couple of years have been on Black music and Black society in the North during the time of slavery. And what you find is Detroit, Cincinnati, especially Cincinnati and Detroit are the two most successful places for Black people at that time. Cincinnati and Detroit. Milwaukee, very successful place for Black folks. My great granddad, 6 generations back, lived in Milwaukee. Before he was a free Black man in Milwaukee in the 1850s. Fought in the Civil War, came back to Milwaukee. But what we find is in the 1820s, 1830s, really the 1820s, a lot of that stuff that Black people was built up. Philadelphia is another one. Between the 1820s and 1830s, they knocked it all down. You had the 410 family in Philadelphia that amassed millions of dollars. The 410 family was one of the richest families in Philadelphia of all colors. They were the Fortin family. The Fortin family, or James Fortin, fought in the Civil War as a 14-year-old. I mean, a Revolutionary War as a 14-year-old, and came back and started making sails for ships and became just as rich as any white man in Philadelphia. And they had a whole Black society of elites in Philadelphia in the 1830s, only for it all to get burned down in 1839. Same thing with Detroit, 1839. But in the 1820s, Cincinnati, the Jacksonian riots, Cincinnati, St. Louis, Cleveland, Milwaukee, all throughout Indiana, all throughout all of these places in the North. Black people built these wonderful societies and they got taken away in the 1820s. Then you fast forward to the 1920s. Of course, Wilmington was 1898. There were never no times we had peace. They was always burning our shit down. I'm just talking about it gets intense in the 20s and the 30s. They'll never stop doing this shit. But when you get to the 1820s, you got Red Summer 1919. You got Black Wall Street, but it wasn't just Black Wall Street. You got all of these cities that they went through and burned through. I mean, and smaller towns they burned through, forcing people us to move into big towns. There are a lot of small towns at that time. And then you get urban renewal of the 60s that fucked us up. See, they stopped burning our shit down like that in the 1920s was the last time. See, because we got to remember, black folks was coming off the World War I in the 1920s, so a lot of black people were armed. And then World War II hit. They weren't coming and burning our cities down anymore. It changed form. It changed form. It started with urban renewal when they just would leave stuff all degraded and dilapidated and bring energy down. And now it's gentrification. This gentrification, the fact that it's happening in every city that black people live in, the fact that all of the celebrities are silent on it, there's this code of silence on gentrification. It's happening to black people everywhere, but nobody's talking about it. To me, this is just a more humane way of them doing what they've been doing, disassociating us from what we built. It's the same shit, but a different toilet. Do y'all see that? I'm telling you right now, y'all, if my phone disconnects, I'm looking at my Wi-Fi signal, it's still strong, but it went down one. If my phone disconnect, I ain't coming back live, all right? So I'm planning on talking to y'all for a little while longer, but just if my shit disconnect, then I'm gonna say bye now, just in case it disconnect. But as long as I don't disconnect, we got a little more to talk about. Yeah, but it's happening all over. It's happening all over the gentrification thing. It's happening right there, and it's like the whole plan here in America is to keep. Needy Fuller said that is to keep them moving. Y'all need to go ahead and listen to the Needy Fuller videos, man. If you want to buy his book, that's fine. If you want to read his book, fine. Needy Fuller still got tons of videos up. He prepared you for all this shit. This country don't let us sit anywhere for too long. Hey, even during slavery in the 1820s, they was moving all these motherfuckers from plantations in Virginia, and settled them off, settled them to auctions in New Orleans. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Speaking of this part, that's a good point, telling Mitchell. Going back to our roots and smaller rural communities. That's a good point. But press one if you know the channel, the Dennis Spurling channel. I like Dennis Spurling's channel. I really like his channel. So I'm not about to sit here and castigate the man. I'm not. But press one if you know the Dennis Spurling channel. Lately, he's been doing a lot of talk about, he's been tearing folks down. I mean, for tearing folks up. He's been doing a great job. I want to start off by saying Dennis Spurling does a great job on the channel. I really like his channel, so I don't want what I'm about to say next to be some me acting as if I'm downing him or talking about him. No, I'm not. I really like his channel. I just disagree with him on one thing when he keeps talking about we were slaves from Africa, slaves from Africa, slaves from Africa, slaves from Africa, slaves from Africa. And lately he's been doing some videos talking about showing the Indians that were trading slaves. And let me address that real fast. A lot of the slaves that were slaves for Indians, what happened was they'll tell you the story about the Indians were catching runaway slaves. Yeah, that was part of their job. But the people who were enslaved in India, the Indians that were enslaved, when the European came to America, this country was already at civil war. These tribes, the Mississippian tribes, they started their civil wars in the 1400s before the Europeans got here. They had been going through civil wars for about 100 years by the time the Spanish arrived. What they were doing was the losers of these conflicts. They were bring these conflicts. They were bringing in these Europeans the same way they did in Africa to be moderators to these conflicts. And when these tribes, whether it be the Mississippian tribes, same play. Mississippian tribes, Algonquin tribes, the Iroquois tribes, the Pontiac tribes, the losers of these battles would get captured into slavery. All you have to do if you want to understand what I'm saying is to look up these wars and ask what happened to the losers of the wars. They were sold into slavery. So, and or the tribes kept them as slaves themselves. And they were working right alongside. But so a lot of the people who were slaves, they were on the sides, and usually it was on the side where the European played interference and manipulated. Then so the losers of these people became enslaved here in America. And that's a part of what that brother's been missing. So I was looking today. He did a show. He did a clip today where he was talking about the Indian slaves, and the comment section on his video. May I never do a video where y'all light my ass up like that. The comment section on his video was lighting his ass up, and they were like, "Brother, you stuck to the African thing. Like that is a story, but it's not the story." I said that to say I was just reading the comments. I'm like, yo, people are really waking up. Another thing we got to understand, when the Spanish came, they all came, and the French, they all came with Moorish interpreters. The Moors been over here. How else would they know these people's languages? Yeah, even with that dude York, that was with what the York, that was with you know them two, not Bonnie and Clyde. What's them two other white boys? White Lois and Clark. I about to say Bonnie and Clyde. They all had Moorish translators. Like you got to add these stories to the mix. And where our brother went wrong, and the reason why his comment section like that, because it's like I know that we were talking about the transatlantic Atlantic slave trade. Yes, I'm not one of those people that be like it didn't happen. I do believe the transatlantic slave trade happened. I do. It's just a lot of documentation saying that it did. So I'm not saying it didn't happen. But what also happened is the first slaves captured in America were sent to England. That's also true. Don't talk about that. Who are these people that went to England? How they look? So much history is omitted after the American Revolution. I'm, I'm sorry, during the American Revolution. You gotta remember In 1776, there was a fight between the Iroquois Confederacy, a confederacy that started in 1151 by Hiawatha, and that charter lasted till 1776. These are the people that the United States, that Ben Franklin used to be a frequent visitor to their meetings. And he got the idea of a Congress and a Senate from these tribes. The Iroquois, I'm high right now, so I'm drawing a blank. The Seneca were part of that. The the Muskogee down the south. The Mustang. Look up the Iroquois. Just look up the Iroquois Confederacy tribes. Chat room. One of my mods. Look up the Iroquois nations. Those, I think it's 5 or 6 nations. They had the treaty. Before the revolution. Appreciate that, Christopher. Before when the American Revolution broke out, some of those Indian tribes sided with the Patriots. That's the Americans. The majority sided with the British. And when the British didn't just completely obliterate, when the loyalists and the British, when they didn't just completely obliterate the Americans in 1776, that caused those nations to go to civil war. Look at what I'm saying. That caused those nations to go to civil war. Now, when the war was over, they say estimates up to 20,000 prisoners of that war were sent to Jamaica and the Bahamas. Ooh. So who are all these engines that was sent to Jamaica and the Bahamas? How they look? The descriptive terms say tall, swarthy, and athletic build. There's the Jamaica. The rest were sold off into plantations here in America, the Americas. Because remember the New York had the biggest plantations in America at the time. Remember, the North had slavery at the time. So when those tribes, wait, one of my moms, look up, name the tribes of the Iroquois Confederacy. Just Google that real fast, or run it through ChatGPT to tell you the names of the tribes of the Iroquois Confederacy. That's just one of the fights. You had the Yamasee fights in the 1715 to 1717. The Yamasee was winning, but what the colonists, not the British, but I think that was a British colony. What the colonists did when they were fighting the Yamasee in the 1700s, what they did was they worked with the Cherokee. And the Cherokee and the Yamasee already had issues. They had their own beef. So when they fought the Europeans contracted the Cherokee to help defeat the Yamasee. And then they allowed the Cherokee to keep the Yamasee that they defeated as slaves. This was black on black crime 300 years ago, y'all. Because how do I say that? Because the Yamasee War is 1715. Let's fast forward to 1818. 1818, what does Andrew Jackson say about the Seminole Wars? He calls the Seminole Wars the Negro Wars. He said he looked like he's fighting a Negro war. Seminoles, Negroes. They look like Negroes. And remember the Seminole War also involved the Gula and the Geechee. And they had their last major uprising like in 1858, 2 years before the Civil War. Like, if you just study the Pontiac Wars and you just study the wars that happened on this land, man, these tribes are going at it. The Natchez Wars. The losers got sold into slavery. That's how you get from only. That's why. That's how you get from only 388,000 slaves being imported to America to having over 4 million. Yeah, they had slave farms, but they wasn't fucking that much. America went on a massive expansion from 1783, or from 1790 to 1810. That Louisiana Purchase, like they had to feel that that land wasn't empty when they came in. There had people living there. How did they look? Look at how many people were shipped from the port of Charleston to New Orleans. And then going back to what they were saying, like when I listen to Brother Spurley's channel again, subscribe to his channel. I like his channel. So I'm not about to sit here and argue with no Dennis Spurton. I really like his channel. It was just some history that because he's completely right in his history. He's completely right in his history. But it's just there's history that's missing. And I'm gonna say it like that. I'm trying to let it it. The brother's right about, Indians owning slaves and we did come from Africa. He's right about that. But he's also like doing most people do, omitting the Americas. Yeah, the Mohawk, the Seneca, the Iroquois Confederacy. Yep. And again, let me show you how to do research real quick. All right. This is how you use AI to your advantage. You use Claude AI, use ChatGPT, either one. You ask the AI for descriptive terms of these people. And then you go one step further. You say, give me books, preferably books that I can download PDF. Give me PDF books on the Mohawk. What did people, how were the Mohawk described by English explorers? How were the Mississippian tribes described by Spanish and French explorers? You ask those questions. And then you say, find books that I can download for free on PDF to source my information. And you'll get books. You could even ask it, okay, once you get a book, you could throw a book back into chat GBT and scan it and say, take me to the page where they give descriptive terms of these people. And it'll shoot page 58. And you'll go back and you'll read this book that was written in 1820. You'll read this book that was written in 1890, talking about these stories and what the original explorers saw when they got there. You gotta learn how to use ChatGPT to your advantage. I might do a ChatGPT class on Patreon. Patreon subscribers, how would y'all want me to do a ChatGPT class? Really on how to research, a researching course. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm teaching all my courses on chat on Patreon now. We're in our history of R&B courses going on right now. I told the people we were only going to have 10 classes for my history of R&B class. We're already at 10 classes, and I probably got 4 more to go. So I under promise and over deliver when it comes to my history of R&B course on Patreon. Make sure you join if you really want to break down the history of music. And I'm about to start teaching y'all how to read cards on that channel on Patreon too. I know I've been saying that. Star, I know you I've been saying that for a little while now, but I'm gonna do it. The card reading. And I'll make it the same price as the music university. I think what I'll do is the music university is 40 bucks a month. I'll put the card reading class at 40 bucks a month too. Or like maybe in like both channels combined. If you want both tiers combined, the card reading and the music university, make it like 50 or some shit like that. So you ain't gotta spend 40 bucks twice. So if you're already on the music university and you want to add the card reading, it'll only be like 10 bucks. If you don't give a shit about the music and you just want to read cards. That way, and I'm gonna do classes regularly, ongoing too. I'm not gonna even put it into it. I'm gonna teach you how to read the card spread. I'm gonna teach you how to read your shadow cards. I'm gonna teach you how to read each planet, how to interpret. We're gonna go just have probably 3 classes a month. Yeah, I love teaching. I love teaching people how to read cards because I want people to know how to. I'm not here to hold no fucking secrets. I'm here on this earth to teach. Fuck, I look like reading cards and not showing y'all how I do it. I am not here to be no secretive ass nigga. Hell, the more black people learn these disciplines, the better we are as a people, right? Right? Like I used like my first card reading class was like $1,000 something, and a bunch of people paid for it. The second card reading class I did was like for 400 bucks, and a bunch of people paid for it. But I'm in a different place now. I want to make it as cheap as possible, as accessible as possible. I still gotta get some back for my time, but I don't want to charge that much money for a course anymore. He said, You a fool, Biz Martie. And again, my classes, those you've taken, yeah, I'm different. I'm not one of those people who I don't sell these digital "Imma teach you how to be rich" courses. Hell, I'm not rich. How the fuck am I gonna teach y'all how to be rich? You dig? I don't sell classes on making your relationship perfect. Reading cards is an old school science that predates me by millennia upon millennia upon millennia. And it's a skill that you can use for yourself, you know? And you cannot take it. It's just for people who are curious. I'm glad I learned how to read cards. The music university, that's people who are curious. I'm not selling you niggas on you can be a music historian too. No, just if you really want to know how deep this shit goes, join the Patreon and I will show you the way. But also what the people get from the music university, you get full on a full syllabus. You get slides, you get book references. Like it's not just listening to me talk. I give a full on syllabus to every class. And for those of you on the music university tier, I'll be giving you guys I've already given you some book references. I'll be giving you some when the class is over with, I'll be giving you a list of documentaries and books to follow up on everything that we talk about. Okay. That's right, DJ. Yeah, at music university is gonna go more. We're gonna go into some work courses and after this. I never got into tarot. I tried to do tarot. Tarot's confusing to me. Like tarot cards didn't like this cool. It just didn't keep my interest, you know? Numerology keeps my interest. Astrology doesn't really keep my interest. I like planetary astrology. The 12 houses, I know the 12 houses and the 13th and Vulcan and all that, but they still kind of confuse me. Cards just make playing cards made the most sense to me. When I found out you can read playing cards, that made the most sense to me. Tarot kind of confuses me and all that. You know, I don't tarot cards don't speak to me, but playing cards talk to me. Yeah, but again, when it comes to stuff like reading cards, you gotta listen to your spirit. If the shit sound weird to you, you don't want to do it, then don't goddamn do it. Only do it if your spirit sends you that way. If your spirit don't send you that way, just keep it pushing. Wally next door, I understand why you feel that way. Don't I see why because I be snapping on niggas. So I know how you know. Nah, why next door? That's why I don't put the cards into every single thing that I do and talk about because I know how it makes people feel. I know how it used to make me feel. I was scared of that shit too. You wouldn't seen me read no fucking cards in 2010. I would have told you to kiss my black ass and get the fuck away from me. I didn't even start becoming open to this kind of shit to like 2016. It was a progression. But I also came to the realization of this. Who told me tarot cards are evil? Was it the religion that wanted 10% of my money every week? Or was it the government that I know don't give a fuck about me? I found the organizations that are against reading cards are generally organizations who are proven to not be for my greater good. Legacy media. When is legacy media ever looked out for me? And why would the church endorse a discipline that can make me not need the church? You dig what I'm saying? So I get why people are not into it. It's a lot that's been done to our minds. I just had to. I went through that evolution in my own time, and you got to go through that evolution in your own time, if it's ever time. Some people are never gonna come around to it. That's fine too. Somebody said you were never introduced to the true gospel. That's a cliche. Stop it. Born and raised in church. I was not taught religion. I was taught you have a relationship with God. I was taught all the cliches, JRL, that you're going to tell me. I can probably tell my cliches before you. I wasn't no fake ass Christian. Now I need you niggas to listen up. When I was in church, I didn't leave the church. I was like 34. I never took a break. I really believed in that shit when I was in it, especially my teenage years. I stopped believing in much more. I got my 20s. I started. By the time I got to my 20s, I just was watching. But up until the age of 19, like I was on the end of that shit. I used to be in church 4 days a week. Tuesday rehearsal, Wednesday night Bible study, Thursday rehearsal, Sunday 2 services playing the drums. And before I played the drums, I was there every Sunday and Wednesday. I gave 10% of my tithes to the church up until I was 23. I didn't take my first drink of liquor till I was 21. Hmm. Yep. I went out the weekend of my birthday when I was 21. That was my first time touching liquor. Last thing I want to hear is some nigga trying to come around and tell me what kind of Christian I was. I live that shit. My mama still do. My mama's very blessed too. My mom, my dad, they live it. And they're blessed. Observation is what made me leave the church. One day I decided to one day I decided to observe. I ain't seen Water Next Door in a minute too. I'm seeing some people up in the chat. I ain't seen in a minute. Salute to y'all. Y'all know when I started to question the church really heavy? Look up, it's this pastor, white dude, named Mike Murdoch. Look him up. Look up Mike Murdoch. He looked like a goddamn. He lived in Nottingham next to Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves. He came to art is a white dude. I should have known better. What does a white dude come to this black church in South Central LA in 2002? Man, oh JRL, you live in LA. So yeah, I used to go to Zoe Christian Fellowship on Adams and La Brea, which was a spinoff church from Frederick Casey Price and Crenshaw Christian Center. Bishop Frank Stewart came out of Crenshaw Christian Center. That's the church I went to. But Mike Murdoch came to our church and he gave this giving challenge. And I gave that amount. I think he's like, you give, and I did it. I gave like $300, the biggest most I had ever given a church for something. And whatever the bullshit he said, it didn't happen that way. And that was the best $300 check that I wrote because I was really in the religious bubble before that. He said he got that false prophet look on him. Right, he do. Yeah, look up Mike Murdoch. I wrote that $300 check. He was like, if you write this check for $300, it's the Lord's gonna rain down a blessing that you've never seen before. And just for $300, you're going to see a blessing from God that is going to come to you tenfold. God is telling me right now that you're going to get this blessing tenfold. So $300 is yes. And I was just like, and something in me, I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I was like, no. And I did it. And that was the worst thing at the time, but long period, the best thing I ever did. That was the best thing I ever did. Because that $300 was the last time I ever gave church. And I stayed in church for like another 10, no, 7 or 8 years after that. I stayed in church, maybe another 8 or 9 years after that. I stayed in church. He looks like dude on Succession, right? Because I like it was just something that happened where I was just like, yeah, no, this isn't. And every time I've done something similar in the past, it worked out the same way. But when I was really into my Jesus years, I blamed myself because I was like, well, maybe last time I didn't give enough to the Lord. Maybe last time I gave to the Lord, but my faith wasn't set. That's what that church kind of teaches you. Church kind of teaches you everything you do right is for Jesus, and everything you do bad is for you. Anything something didn't work out your way, it's your fault. Anytime something good happens, it's Jesus' fault. Tony said how to get while paying tithes. I was playing the drum. Shit, that's how I was a good drummer. You said, oh yeah, Soderbrand. You said I wasn't born a sinner. And listen to the lyrics in gospel music. This yesterday was Easter Sunday. Think about one of the most beautiful gospel songs ever. I'm gonna give you an example of one of the most beautiful gospel songs ever. Now behold the Lamb. Now behold the Lamb, the precious Lamb of God. What's the next line? Born into sin, so I may live again. The precious Lamb of God. You have one of the most beautiful songs ever. Singing to you some bullshit. And then the next part, why you love me so, Lord, I shall never know. Question. Would you ever question why your parents love you? If God is my father, why am I singing a song saying why my father loves me? I'll never know. I'm a born sinner, but the song is so beautiful, the melody. But that's poison and it gets in your spirit. What else did Kurt Franklin say? I'd rather have Jesus than silver and gold. Think about in 1994 when silver and gold came out, there was no gentrification. We had the hood on lock. What if we had the silver and gold? Do you think we'd be dealing with gentrification? 90% of them churches that saying, I'd rather have Jesus and silver and gold, them motherfuckers is shut down now because ain't no more black people in that neighborhood. Because you got all the Jesus and no silver and gold, and all your black patrons are living in Vegas now. They would like to still live around church from around the corner from the church. They would love to. They can't afford though. They can't afford it because a beautiful song told them that having Jesus in their heart bigger than silver and gold. When why should we even be singing this? Why can't I say I love Jesus and the silver and gold? Why can't that be the song? Give me Jesus, give me gold. Give me Jesus, give me silver, give me Jesus and gold. Then Lord God, I'll never fold. Why can't that be the song? Why gotta be a fight between Jesus and gold? Why would you make that juxtaposition? Cause it's poison. You better off listening to Frankie Beverly and Mays if you want some spirituality. Nigga, please. You may as well listen to some Earth and Fire if you want some spirituality. And if y'all think I'm bullshitting on my church experience, go back 2 weeks ago. Very few of you seen the video. It only had like 500 views. I interviewed Mark Scarborough. He's now the pastor of the church that I grew up in. He'll tell you we exchange stories about me as a church drummer as a 15-year-old. I'm not some nigga just on the internet. I got some of the people in life that have impacted me. I'm interviewing. I ain't got nothing to hide. Y'all want to see the person that was the music director in my church? I interviewed him on the channel 2 weeks ago. Go look it up. YouTube buried it in the algorithm. I interviewed my music director when I was a kid. Go listen to the interview. He'll tell you how Mark will tell you exactly how I was at 15 years old in church, 20 years old in church. I was committed. I had to grow to where I am now through experience. Real talk, DJ. There's some people who only been in church, and I'm not against. Look, the church has a role. I'm not saying don't go to church. If you're at the point in your life right now that your spirit says church is where you need to be, then be there. I'm not. Church gave me a lot of good principles that I live on still to this day. There was some beauty in church. There were some beautiful messages. The parables. I still keep the parables with me. Parables are good lessons. The prodigal son and the man with the 5 talents are my two favorite parables in church. Because I'm the one with the 5 talents. And that parable said, if you got 5 talents, cultivate 5 talents. If you got 1 talent, cultivate that 1 talent. If you got 3, whatever talent you got, cultivate it. I still live by that. I still live by, I understand the prodigal son is a story of me as a youth, me as an adult, and me as an elder. If you read The Prodigal Son as yourself in all three of those phases, you'll get a lot of lessons out of it. So there's some good shit in the church, but I ain't going back to that motherfucker. Gerald said I was practicing religion. How's it? Yeah, see, that's another thing with people who are too deep into the church. Y'all don't listen too well. You don't listen too well. I literally just gave you two breakdowns of parables, most important parables, and how to live by these parables. Church teaches you a lot of great things to live by, and that's what I keep from the church. But going there, plus, I played the drums in the church for 20 years. You know what I've seen? And in my 20 years playing in church, it wasn't just my church. I played in churches from LA to North Carolina. I played at the church in Rocky Mount, North Carolina once. I played in churches in Texas. I played in churches in Georgia. I played in churches in Arizona. I, do you know how much I've seen? I started playing the drums in church when I was 14. Do you know what I've seen? Not heard. I've seen a lot. But a lot of what I've seen I don't talk about because I also know that religion is sensitive to people, you know what I mean, man? And if that's where your spirit needs you to be, that's where you need to be. I didn't say I don't think church people aren't sinners. I didn't say that. I don't see the world. Everybody sins. There's nobody. There's no place that's pure. But when I say you know what I've seen, I don't know if you. I don't know if you really understand what I'm talking about when I say you know what I've seen. The levels is. I almost don't even want to say it because I don't want to burst anybody's bubble. I don't want to be the one. I used to enjoy bursting people's bubbles, but I don't know. Like the people talking, they cool in the chat. I'm not. I don't see. And I get. I see they don't agree with me, but I think they're still good people, so I don't feel like they're not the kind of people trying to. I'm not. I don't want to go too far, but I've seen a lot. And let me just say this: some of the stuff I've seen in church ain't no different than some of the stuff I've seen in music, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Sometimes I ask myself which environment's worse. A lot of the reason why I'm not in church is a lot of the reason why I never got into music all the way. This at the same time when I was 19, when I started to really see what church is about, that was also what I really started to see what the music industry was about, and I chose not to become a professional musician. I'm very sensitive to environments, and I could have been a professional drummer. I didn't want to be one. My spirit took me away from the music industry, away from that. So it wasn't just church. I also decided not to go through the music industry. I didn't want to be a part of the music industry. That's why I got such a grand respect for those who stick with it. I had a great interview with DJ Battlecat yesterday. We had a dope ass interview. I got so much respect for those who stay within the music industry, y'all. Y'all the winners. I didn't have it in me. I couldn't stick with it. I'm not with it. But it's a when it comes to the church, when it comes to the religions, all religions have substance if you understand how to extract substance from, and they all got substance and they all got BS. My thing is, whatever religion you are, just live by the substance of it. Just let the substance of your spiritual handbook be your guide. How to treat people, how to treat yourself, how to grow, have how to have faith in yourself. As long as you're doing that, whatever you in Christianity, Islam, or Jehovah's Witness, you good. Ain't got no issue with it. 'Cause I still hold on to the parts of church that worked. I still hold on to the parts of Christianity that worked. Still to this day. Got rid of the rest though. And picked up some new things like reading cards. On my cards. Damn, we're here 2 hours. I'm out. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow.